My parents and golden child sister ditched me on my 15th birthday, so I threw a fake party with their work friends and exposed the truth. I celebrated my 15th birthday 3 days ago, but things didn't go as expected. On the morning of my birthday, my parents enthusiastically informed me that they had planned a surprise family trip to the Poconos. I was ecstatic since, as the less important younger sibling, I rarely get surprises like this. I was quite happy. However, a few hours later, when I finished packing and walked downstairs with my bag, I discovered that my parents had already left. Only my older sister, Chloe, 17F, the golden child, was there for me. She smiled, so I knew something was wrong. When I questioned what was going on, she said I didn't need to pack my things and could go back upstairs to unpack. I assumed the trip had been canceled, but she informed me that there would be no family vacation for me and handed me a sheet of paper with a list of responsibilities. I was perplexed until she stated that my parents and she had agreed, despite the fact that they had surprised me with the vacation that morning. They had a debate, and Chloe believed it would be best for me to stay home and study because our finals were approaching. She, of course, got to leave because she had completed her assignments. If I became bored, I could do household tasks. Then she chuckled and said I should thank her for giving me time to study rather than spending it with our family. I was so wounded that all I could do was inquire where our parents were. Chloe informed me that she had already dispatched them to the airport and had stayed behind to tell me in person as a birthday gift to me. She explained that my parents couldn't bring themselves to break my heart, so they let Chloe give the news, which she obviously loved. I knew she enjoyed embarrassing me. I returned upstairs with my things, resisting the impulse to cry in front of her. After hearing the front door close, I broke down and cried for an hour. Chloe had always despised me, and I knew my parents would always support her, but I never expected them to be so harsh, particularly on my birthday. After I cooled down, I became enraged. I had texted my pals earlier, explaining that I couldn't hang out due to the trip, and now I was trapped at home alone. So, I decided to get revenge on my parents and Chloe. I went to my father's office and used his MacBook to discover essential contacts. I called everyone and invited them to a surprise anniversary party for my parents that evening. Because I was only a child, the majority of them agreed to attend, thinking it was charming. I did the same for my mother's contacts, and because neither of them had password-protected devices, it was simple. Then, I decided to text Chloe's boyfriend on Instagram, inviting him to the party that evening. I also invited my own friends and had them help me decorate the house to make it look like a party. Around 7 p.m., the visitors I had invited began to arrive, but they were surprised to see that my parents were not present. I kept telling them it was a surprise, and they'd find out what was going on later. After all of the guests had come and we had taken a group shot, I decided to carry out my plan. I informed the guests where my parents were and how they treated me. I explained how my parents always did everything Chloe said and how I was treated like Cinderella. I had never discussed any of this before that day. I told how my parents had abandoned me on my birthday, without even trying to explain in person since Chloe thought it was the appropriate thing to do. Many people were startled because my parents presented themselves as lovely and decent. However, respectable people do not do this to their children. After I completed telling my narrative, I explained that this was exactly why I organized the party, to expose my parents and sister. Finally, I showed them the chore list Chloe had left for me. I could see Chloe's boyfriend standing in the corner, stunned because he hadn't realized Chloe had such a vicious side. Everyone was silent following my remarks. People eventually began to leave, some without saying anything, while others approached me to console me before leaving. The only thing I felt guilty about was wasting their time, but I was not too concerned. After everyone had left, I texted the group photo to my parents and Chloe with the following caption: "Had some people over for my birthday party today. I believe I'll start with the list Chloe left me." It was a fantastic strategy. My parents reacted quickly after I sent the message, insisting that I solve everything right away and informing me that they would be returning on the next aircraft. I blocked them all and went to my closest friend Maya's house with my belongings, knowing that my home was no longer mine. Maya and her parents were lovely people who always said their doors were open, so I decided to take them up on their offer. I had no idea how long they could support me, but I was pleased they opened their home so generously on my birthday. I did not hear from my parents, but the next day, they went to Maya's place. Nobody was shocked that I had decided to stay with Maya, as we had been best friends since childhood. When they arrived, Maya's parents refused to let them in, claiming they had no business trying to talk to me after I'd made it obvious I was not interested. However, my parents began to threaten legal action against Maya's parents. I was afraid, so I told them to invite my parents in, and I'd be ready to chat. My parents were infuriated. They said I had no right to contact their business associates because their reputation was already tarnished. None of their co-workers or associates were ready to speak with them anymore, and some had even blocked my mother and father. They blamed me for this, which was understandable given that I planned the entire operation. I informed them that if they had been kind and not insulted me on my birthday, I would not have done this. I ended up yelling at them for always treating me worse than Chloe, saying they had ruined my life and that I would never forgive them. Things became quite heated, and we were all yelling at each other so fiercely that Maya's parents had to intercede. Maya had to take me out of the room to help me calm down. When I finally calmed down, her parents approached me and told me that my parents had departed. They also told me that my parents would not be able to speak with me until I was ready to face them. Then, Maya's parents advised me to pursue legal action, such as emancipation, because it had become evident that my parents couldn't care less about me. They felt it was time I cut them out of my life for good. After discussing this with Maya's parents, I decided to consult a lawyer, and we are currently considering emancipation. I'm still perplexed because this is a big decision, and I don't want to regret it in the future. However, at the current rate, I doubt I will. Yesterday evening, my parents contacted me again about my choice. I received an email from my parents, which I recognized by the address. I tried hard not to open it, but curiosity got the best of me, and I read it. They began by saying that the reason they surprised me with the vacation was that one of my father's clients had opened a new spa and resort in the Poconos, which was a bonus for my father. He had chosen to seize the opportunity around the same time as my birthday. However, when Chloe mentioned my exams, they didn't want my grades to suffer simply because I went on vacation with them. They couldn't believe I had misinterpreted the situation and attempted to get revenge on them for it. They stated it made them feel like they had failed to raise me properly. According to them, Chloe was simply attempting to be a nice, caring big sister, and there was no reason for me to overreact. It was all rubbish, and I was quite irritated. I almost gave up reading halfway through, but the second portion was about how furious they were that I had included others in our family drama and aired our dirty laundry in public. They stated that they never expected or wanted this to happen. They said that if I had just spoken to them directly about my concerns, they might have been able to resolve them. Instead, I took such harsh measures. They conceded that Chloe's list of responsibilities was excessive, but they stated I should have called and questioned them about it. They said that if they had known I felt excluded, they would have returned right away. They insisted that the manner I handled the matter was unexpected, and they felt awful about it. They said that it was an unfortunate mistake that had been blown out of control. They want me to talk to them and work things out, but I'm not sure what I want to do. I have extremely mixed feelings about this. Please help me. Am I the jerk for holding a party and exposing my parents to their co-workers and business associates after they ignored me while on vacation? Update 1. Okay, so most of you believe that what I did was perfectly acceptable and that they deserved it. Therefore, I have nothing to apologize for. I've decided not to apologize. I disabled the email address they used to contact me so they couldn't reach me again. I know they might create a new one and try to contact me, but I'll just continue to block them. I've decided that regardless of what they say, I will not answer or even read it. It's simply not worth it. It will only exacerbate my problems. As for emancipation, I've chosen to go for it. It's a big deal, and I know I'm still young, but Maya and her parents have guaranteed me that they'll be by my side no matter what happens. They even offered to formally adopt me if it would make me feel more comfortable, which it might, but I haven't considered it yet. We are now simply working on emancipation, and the paperwork is being completed as we speak. I'm not sure how my parents will respond because when they wrote me the email, I could tell they were unhappy that I'd chosen to live with Maya and her parents. This makes little sense to me because, based on how I've been treated throughout my life, it's clear that they don't want me around as much as they want Chloe. That is evident to me, but they are still attempting to reach out, which is perplexing. I have a feeling they only want me back to improve their reputation and image, nothing else. Right now, all I can do is wait for them to receive the emancipation paperwork and see how they respond. It's been a few days since my post, and they haven't contacted me again after that email, so I'm not sure how they're feeling right now. I know things can't be going well for them because many people attended the party, and I've heard from others that Chloe and her boyfriend split up. No one knows why but me. Update 2. My parents received the documentation for my formal emancipation a few days ago, and they were not pleased, which surprised me. They phoned Maya's parents, and there was a heated argument. Apparently, my parents assumed Maya's family had set me up and were controlling me, believing I wasn't acting on my own free will. This didn't make sense to me. Do they know how terribly they've treated me in the past? Of course, I am doing this on my own accord. I had anticipated this type of reaction following my previous post, as many of you pointed out that they merely wanted me back to maintain their image as a happy family. They probably assumed everything I said during the party was simply me being bratty. When I didn't return to them, it enraged them because I was finally standing up for myself, and they couldn't take it. Unfortunately, this is already happening. They can call Maya's parents whatever they want, but it won't change the fact that they deserve it, and they no longer deserve to be my parents. Maya told me that my parents called her parents every name in the book and threatened to take them to court, stating they had no right to subject me to this. They also threatened to injure them, which is ridiculous because it is illegal and will just make them appear worse. The way they spoke to Maya's parents only confirmed what I already knew. They don't want me back out of love, but rather to improve their image. Maya's parents were accused of attempting to destroy my parents' reputation by portraying themselves as saviors and revealing to the world that I had been abused. My parents vowed that they would not let that happen. They complained about how I was an entitled brat, and that by supporting me, Maya's parents were demonstrating that they were unsuitable to be parents themselves. If my parents truly loved me as a daughter, they would be more concerned about my well-being and would make an effort to communicate with me directly. Instead, they're shrieking at Maya's parents, saying that they're trying to ruin their reputation. The thought that Maya's parents would wish to ruin my parents is absurd. They only know each other through Maya and me, so they have no motivation to compete. Furthermore, there's no comparison. Maya's parents are far more prosperous, caring, and sympathetic. My parents are so anxious about their image that they believe Maya's parents are like them, incapable of actually caring for me and simply out to pull them down. I urgently want to inform my parents that Maya's family isn't just pretending to be my saviors. They actually are. I needed to be saved from my parents, and if they had just realized it in the first place, they would have apologized for what they had done rather than attempting to create even more drama. But Maya and her parents have given me specific instructions not to contact them, no matter how tempted I am, since it isn't worth it. I know they received a phone call from my parents a few days ago. After arguing with them over the phone and giving me only the information they believed was vital for me to know, they informed me that they had recorded the call. My parents were extremely ignorant since this tape may be used as proof of why I deserve to be freed from them. They also asked me to consider whether I wanted them to legally adopt me or not. I ended up saying yes because I truly like them, and I know it will irritate my parents even more, but that isn't the major reason. It's largely because I believe they are really kind-hearted and great people, and having Maya as my sister will be a bonus, so I'm totally in. They informed me that they will speak with the lawyer again to begin the paperwork for that as well, as it may help with my emancipation case, knowing that I have better people to depend on and live with. To be honest, this is only getting better, and I am very grateful to them. Update 3. Hello. Something terrible occurred today. Long story short, Chloe beat the snot out of me after school. My last class, English, was conducted in the east wing of the school, and as I was leaving, she and a group of her pals literally cornered me. Unfortunately, I am always the last person to leave class since I am slow at gathering my belongings, and by the time I exited, most of the students had already left. When I saw Chloe and her pals standing outside, I was a little afraid, but I didn't show it because it would only help them win. As I was about to leave the classroom, they came all up in my face and told me I couldn't leave. They forced everyone else in the class to leave and informed me that they needed to settle some scores with me. I tried to remain calm and level-headed so that my worry did not show, but they did not appear to care. Chloe grabbed my arm and walked me outside while I begged her to let me go, but everyone else was so noisy that I couldn't be heard. Then they carried me to the janitor's closet and forced me inside. I kept knocking on the door, but they stood outside, and even if someone heard me, they wouldn't dare to intervene because Chloe and her pals are seniors with a bad reputation. After approximately 5 minutes, Chloe let me out, but by then, practically everyone had left, leaving me alone with them. When the first smack landed on my face, Chloe began yelling at me. She described me as selfish and ungrateful to our parents. Then came the real reason she was so angry. She accused me of being the reason her boyfriend broke up with her. She banged my head against the concrete, and I became disoriented. She took advantage of this by repeatedly hammering me with her fists while her buddies laughed. It was terribly painful, and I attempted to defend myself, but Chloe is several inches taller and considerably heavier, so there wasn't much I could do. At one point, I just cowered against the wall, and she kept beating me. When she was finished, she kicked me one more time before leaving with her buddies while I wailed against the wall. About 15 minutes later, Maya discovered me sitting on the floor, crying profusely. When I informed her what had happened, she helped me get up, and instead of walking home, we grabbed a cab because I was in no shape to walk. When we arrived home, we told her parents everything, and they looked glum. They quickly contacted the school, followed by the police. It's barely been an hour, and they've spent the entire time on the phone, but Maya is taking care of me. I'm fairly bruised up. The bruises are just beginning to show, and everything hurts. But I know Chloe will receive her karma for this, and it will come soon. Update 4. Hello? I have a lot of things to say, but I will try to make it short and sweet. Chloe banged me up last week, but happily, the school stood up for me. They shared security footage from that part of the building with the police, making it simple to charge her with a misdemeanor. She received community work to compensate for it, but the best part was that she was suspended for the following 6 weeks. That means she won't be able to attend prom, which she was really looking forward to. She will also be seated separately for her finals, rather than with the rest of her class, which means she will be unable to scam her way out of them. I believe it is well-deserved, and I felt vindicated when Maya informed me about it all. Another wonderful thing that happened was that following the disaster with Chloe, my parents chose to relinquish their rights to me. That's correct. They have terminated their parental rights, and the paperwork has been signed, so I'm finally free, and Maya's parents are about to legally adopt me. I'm really grateful to them for it. My parents told me that after everything that had happened, they no longer wanted me in their family. I know they'll attempt to make it appear that I'm at fault, but I don't think anyone will believe them. It makes no difference to me anyway. To be honest, I am finally part of a happy family. I can assure you that my new sister and parents will be considerably superior to those I had previously. I can't believe it's finally working out for me. This is possibly the happiest I have felt in a long time. I even forgot about my upcoming finals, but Maya and I are going to crack on and show everyone what I'm made of. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.